It's gory, it's detailed, it's gruesome, it's graphic. It's really one of the first that I have read in quite a long while that's in this format. Not very many authors write like this anymore. It's like that. So I loved it. It's so bold. I enjoyed it. Hi everyone, this is Paul Loves to Read, and as you know in this channel, it's all about spreading the love and joy for literature. And we hope our little channel helps you find the right book for you. For today, I am very excited to share with you this book. It is called A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. Super fresh. I just finished reading this last night. So, sobrang excited ko to share this. That's why I wanted to shoot it right away. Published in 2020. This is actually the first novel of this author. She's a freelance writer, but this is her first book. And I have to say, it's really good. Awesome, really masterpiece of a debut novel. Oh, diba? Yeah, and also, can you just look at that cover? It's just eye-catching. Diba? I love it. There's just so much in this cover. I don't know the author. So it says here at the back that she is a freelance writer. She talks about a freelance writer who focuses on sex, politics, tech, and fashion and culture. She's a PhD in British literature. And she writes for a lot of really reputable media outlets. So then, that tells you a lot, diba? And no wonder she wrote this kind of book. What made me curious about the book, I actually saw it in one of, again, the Bookstagram of the world. I saw the cover, very catchy cover, and then the person who posted it, and I apologize, I can't remember her, but the person who posted it just posted one line from the book, and it immediately caught my attention, and I thought, I must read this. And I tried to look for it everywhere in the bookstores, in online booksellers. It's not very easy to find. In fact, I would go so far as to say it's hard to find it. I checked with Fully Book, they don't carry it. I checked with National Bookstore, they don't carry it. I checked with the online booksellers that I know, they don't carry it, at least not yet. So I had to have it shipped from the US. I'm so happy I did. It's a really good book. It's about food. It's about this amazing, eloquent, super confident, super independent, super successful food critic. And she writes about food. She works for a magazine. Actually, she worked for several magazines. And she writes about food. It's her passion. The way she describes food is can I say it? It's super obscene and lusty, and it's like sex, the way she describes it. So this woman, Dorothy is her name, she's the food critic, and she's very passionate about food, and her passion on food extends to her passion with men. She likes men. She loves men. She loves toying with them. She can be promiscuous. She is independent that way. And she describes her food journey and her men in her life in the same way. And somewhere along the way, there is going to be a murder. That's not a spoiler. You will read it at the back of the cover. And it's just, it escalates from there. And it's just so deliciously written. I would classify this novel as this is fiction, by the way. I would classify this novel as an adult book. It's heavy in a sense that it's very borderline vulgar, but it's not. Okay, just very borderline lang, obscene almost, very graphic. That's what I should say. Very graphic. The graphic part is both in the sex part. Her sex life as well as her food experience. So she is obsessed about, or she prefers Italian food, Italian cuisine, and she would share a lot of good tips also. Let's just focus on the food first, no? She would give a lot of good tips and a lot of informational stuff about, I don't know what's the term for it, pero about really at the, the food that's at the pinnacle of whatever food luxury cuisine that you could imagine, di ba? Yung mga pang mga top chef, Michelin starred, whatever. So she gives a lot of those little tidbits of information. You know that the author kind of really researched heavily on it. She could get very graphic about, the food industry, like what are the lengths that they would go to get the meat. How are the meat slaughtered? How are the meat prepared? So she kind of pulls the veil of that, di ba? Kasi us as a consumer, we don't really see that. And typically, we don't want to see that because it's gruesome, it's bloody, it's something that will probably make you vegetarian or vegan. So she does that here. And I feel like that's also a statement in the book. Na parang her being a food critic, the protagonist being a food critic, she loves all that stuff. Of course, there was one section in the book wherein she says that she loves to eat meat. And she acknowledges that meat is one of the highest, if not the highest, hindi ata the highest, pero one of the highest contributor when it comes to pollution, di ba? And she talks very, very detailed information about how much shit, how much blood there is in the slaughterhouses and so on. And she says that because she loves meat and she loves food, she wants to understand that process. She doesn't want to be just a consumer buying meat off the market and not seeing what happens behind the scenes. So in her defense, she goes beyond that and sees the animals in the slaughterhouse and so on and so forth. So it has that angle, okay? It has that foodism angle that we as a society now is obsessed about. We take photos of our food, and everybody now could be a food critic, and everybody has opinion about food and so on and so forth. So she's very highbrow, she's very snobbish about it, and I love it. It's part of her character. So that's the food part, and then there's the sex part of it, wherein she shares about the different men that she sleeps with, and in the same manner kind of describes that relationship as graphically as the food part. And it goes hand in hand, those two, her passion for food and her love for men are kind of intertwined. There is definitely something more than food and sex in the book that makes it adult, that makes it gruesome and so on. And that's what actually makes our protagonist Dorothy the way she is, right? It's at that point where she realizes her full potential and her full power, so to speak. And I mentioned earlier, there's also a murder angle, so that's where the narrative or where the storytelling enters, right? Because I keep describing about her as a person, as a protagonist, but there is that storyline. You will follow the murder story. Another thing that maybe I could share is that this is not an easy read. It is not very thick. It is only, how many pages is this? It's only 251 pages. It's a small book format, and it's not an easy read in a sense that it is so dense. It is so packed. It is so much. It's a lot, right? Her prose, her words, her language, her tone is not your typical novel tone, right? So it's that's what I mean when I say that it's not an easy read. It's just, it feels like a lot. It feels yun nga, to keep the talking about food, it feels like it's always full. It's always to the brim. Laging ganun yung feeling niya. So it took me a while to finish this, a few days to finish this. But yeah, I super enjoyed it. I would recommend this book for those who are looking for something different to read. Food is one big aspect of the book. Sex is another big aspect of the book. The murder part is, it's there, but it's not about the murder. It's really more than the murder mystery angle. If you want to push your if you feel like you're ready for something bolder, something more exciting, something out of the out of your normal circulation of genre in books, you might want to try this. I would recommend it for those who are looking for something different to read. It's really not your typical protagonist, not your typical storyline. and the way the prose is written, the way the story unfolds, it's really brilliantly written. You know, the way it's described, very graphic, very bold, as I mentioned. So I really enjoyed that part. Yeah. And that's it. So good luck finding the book. But if and when you do find the book, get it. Even if you're not gonna read it right away, just get it. Only because it's not easy to find, and I'm still not sure if it's available in ebooks. Give it a shot, give it a try. It's really a good one. Thank you.